Hello guys, in this video we will be discussing what is film certification, the process of film certification, what is the role of censorship in certifying movie. Is it so important that particular film certification is really necessary? Of course it is necessary. Whenever film is being certified, the role of the CBFC, that is Central Board, has actually really it increases. For example, we can see that whenever a bill is being passed at the to the public, that is, for example, GST, it was being passed by after the revising committee. Many 122nd amendment has passed. In short, it was being passed by the some house, that was Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. On the same basis, what was the reason that GST was actually being passed from the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? The main reason that the best benefit of the particular bill has to get to the public. And the same basis, the best movie, the obscene scene, the national threat, the many other reasons has not to be the part of the particular film, and to avoid those things, the film certification is actually very necessary. Here the film certification actually plays very important role. Nowadays we have seen many movies, that Urta Punjab, the fashion movie, many controversy had happened in OMG. So to avoid all that, although after this film certification many controversy happened, but prior to that there were many controversy which might happen. To avoid that particular, the CBFC takes the role in their hand to certify the film, and the people actually trust the CBFC board, and actually on that basis they actually got the movie. So nowadays we have seen many movies that got A certificate, US certificate. So we'll see in the further motives. So this is particularly a film certification which has been given by CBSC, that is Central Board of Film Certification. So the movie we can see on the right hand side, namely Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. On the category side, the block letters UA, that is the category which the Ye Jawani Hai Diwani has got. The duration on the extreme right hand side, we can see that 161 minutes is the duration. And this is particularly, we can see wherever we see the movie in the YouTube or in the theater, this 10-second certificate actually appears in the cinema hall in the particular screen. The main role of this 10 second is actually that much important that if this 10 second is not there, then the whole film cannot be telecasted. That much the CBFC role is there. Nowadays we have seen that the Padman that will be releasing in January, so they have given the movie for the certification. After when the particular Padman has get the certificate, then only they can release the particular film. Before starting with, let's have some GK question. So who is the father of our nation? Obviously Note Wale Bapu, that is Mahatma Gandhi. Then comes the father of computer, the man who invented computer. Of course, we have studied in our SEC, that is Charles Babbage. But the father of Indian cinema, in our curriculum, that in our studies, that is never there. Cinema, we actually go after our curriculum only. So the father of Indian cinema is none other than Dhundraj Govind Phalke. Commonly, we have heard his name, that is as Dada Saib Phalke. It's like the whenever we see that the person has got the Oscar at the world level, on the Indian cinema basis, Dada Saib Phalke award is actually more prominent, and it is being given in the individual basis. So a particular film doesn't get this award, a particular person individually they'll enhance this particular award. So let's see the Indian cinema, the history of Indian cinema. So does anybody know first movie which was released? The first movie is Raja Harishchandra, which got released in 1930. So today's date is, I think, 22nd December 2017. Almost Indian cinema has completed 104 years. First movie with sound, that is Alamara, that got released in 1931. So it is implied that the first movie which got released, Raja Harishchandra, was actually a silent based movie which drag us to the history of Rama and Mahabharat, the Vishwamitra concept. Then comes first colored movie, that is Kisan Kanya, that is in 1937. Alamara was actually a colored movie, but the whole portrait is not there in that particular movie. So first officially colored movie was Kisan Kanya, that is in 1937. First movie which got nominated for Oscar. Obviously, we have seen this name everywhere. That is Mother India, that got released in 1957. In today's history, it is a fact that Indian movie which in the best foreign category hasn't got the award, Oscar award. Recently, a Newton was actually submitted for the Oscar category, but still in the top 9, the name has vanished. Then comes the box office collection, that is, from 1931 to 2070, now it will be 2018. Which movie has got the highest collection? Any guesses? That is Dangal. It has actually arrived at 2,122 crore. Then comes the Bahubali, that is 1,706 crore. There's always ups and downs between Dangal and Bahubali, as because Dangal, earlier Bahubali has broken the Dangal's record, but as Dangal got released in China in July or in September, so again it has achieved, I think, 400 crores, so that's why it has broken the Bahubali record as well. So in 2018, in the paper it was given that Bahubali will release into 2018 in Japan and in Russia. So again, this will break Dangal's record as well. So there's not yet fixed which movie has achieved the highest box office collection. The third is PK, that is 854 crore. Let's now discuss about the CBFC, that is Central Board of Film Certification. So CBFC, that it is commonly known as the Censor Board, as we have heard. It is a statutory body which comes under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. It is having 9 regional offices, that is particular in Kolkata, Mumbai, Chennai. The head, the CBFC is actually headed by its chairman. He's none other than the Prasan Joshi. Earlier it was Prahlad Nilani, as he was being sacked, and Prasan Joshi has been appointed as the new CBFC chairman. The fact is, all the members of CBFC is actually been appointed by the central government, and it is for the period of 2 years by drawing people from different walks of life. Then let's see where a CBFC stands in the not in the movie category, but from the perspective of government of India, like in the structure of government where CBFC stands. So first comes the Prime Minister office, which is headed by Narendra Modi, basically the government of India. Then comes the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, which is headed by Srimati Smriti Irani. Then comes the CBFC, that is Central Board of Film Certification. So CBFC actually need to take the command of Ministry of Information Broadcasting, and INB Ministry has to take the command of PMO, that is the Government of India. Then film certifying in India. They actually need to follow the Cinematography Act 1952, as we have seen the company while studying the Companies Act 2017. The act has to be followed. So in the cinema as well, there are acts which has to be followed. That is Cinematography Act 1952 under the rule of 1983 Act. We have seen that in total in 2016-17 there were 1986 films which have actually been made. Earlier we have seen the film was actually made by celluloid, that is particularly we can see on the right hand side the camera is there. But nowadays the whole film industry has actually been digitalized, that is the satellite working is there in the film. uh, Recently a study of Film Federation of India which has arrived, that is how many films are actually certified everywhere in India. So we have seen in 2016-17 there were 1986 films, but the fact is everywhere to almost round about 1500 plus films we make in India every year. But the main prominent fact is that in 2016-17 it was fully 100% digitalized. That is the celluloid movie wasn't needed anymore, and the whole movie was actually being telecasted by the satellite. Then we can see what is censorship. So censorship is basically the suppression or prohibition of any part of book, film, news that are considered obscene, politically unacceptable, or threat to the security. So whenever movie get released, before that the role of CBFC is that to censor the whole film. That is to see that wherever there are obscene scenes which are there, they need to cut that particular thing, the thread, the visual audio. Wherever we can see, there are beep sound which are there. The movie which cannot be cutted, the particular part there, they actually add the beep sound, particularly in the abusive words that we have seen the beep sound. So that is the role of censorship. And as we have discussed, the most prominent role of censorship is actually there in the whole film federation. Recently we have seen a movie, that is Padmavati, which still, the release date, we can see that is 1st December, but this movie hasn't been released yet, as the CBSE haven't given them the certificate, as because there were we have seen many danga fasad which has actually happened in the Chittorgarh. Earlier we have seen Udta Punjab movie being, there were it was Udta Punjab was actually has made the Guinness World Record, that the movie with the highest cuts. Almost there were kind of 50 to 52 cuts was there in that particular movie. Next, we'll see the film category certificate. As we have heard that this particular movie has got the A certificate. That is, it is an adult film. How we determine this thing? This we actually determine by the certificate. First comes the U certificate. U stands for unrestricted public exhibition. That we can see that yellow certificate is there. In this, they have written the whole block letter, that is U. This simply means that this particular movie is actually suitable for all the category of people, from one day child to 60 years to 80 years. Any age doesn't matter in this. It can be seen by each and every people. Then comes the S category, that is restricted to the special audience, such as doctor, scientists. So this movie is actually been made for the particular special category people. Okay, that this are, if the movie is getting S certificate, then only that particular category people can only watch this movie. Then comes the this A certificate, that is the adult film certificate. We have seen many films such as, which got the A certificates. For example, fashion movie Urta Punjab. This is all the movie with A certificate. In this, the criteria is that 18 plus people only can, the age plus 18 only can watch this particular movie. Less than 18 people are not been allowed to watch this particular film due to the obscenity, the security which has to be there, which has to be arrived at the particular age. Then comes the US certificate. That is, it is a combination of U and A. That is, it can be seen by each and every people, but under the parental guidance of the people, of the kids less than 12 years. For example, if recently Tiger Zinda has got the UA certificate, so this simply means that the people who are below the age of 12 can see the movie, can watch this particular movie, but under the parental guidance. If the parents are allowing them to watch that movie, they can easily watch this particular film and the Tiger Zinda basically, and there are no restriction bound to them. Now we'll see the process of film certification, that we have seen that a particular CBFC actually clears the movie. But what's exactly the process? So this we will see with an example. Recently in 2018, a movie will be releasing in 2018. The name is The Pokhran. That is the story of Pokhran. Pokhran, it is a particular region in Rajasthan. The movie is based on the history fact of the Indian test in the nuclear weapons, that in 1998 it has actually added Operation Shakti to, to make the whole world look for us and to see that we too possess the nuclear power. So this movie is actually based on the history. So first we'll discuss what's the process of this movie. So this movie will actually be released in February. Then comes how the process will, from now this movie has actually been submitted to the censor board, and how, what's the role, how does the censor board will clear this film. So first, the film is actually been submitted to the regional office. That is, we have seen that 9 regional offices are there. That is in Maharashtra, in Mumbai, in Kolkata, anywhere the producer actually submits the whole film to the regional office. Then the regional office actually forms a committee to watch this particular movie. The minimum member has to be there to watch this film is 12, and the member should not increase plus 25. So in this ratio, the film actually been watched to the by the particular committee. Then comes the committee submit their recommendation and deletion, etc. So if while watching this movie the committee actually felt that this scene has not to be there, they give the suggestion to the board, and the board actually is actually been headed by the chairperson. So the recommendation is actually been submitted to the chairperson, and chairperson actually gives his assurance and he signs this particular the deletion and the recommendation. Then again chairperson, he actually sends this particular movie to the revising committee to again watch this particular film, and to make, if there are any changes to be made further, then they can actually make. Based on the board recommendation, the applicant, that is the producer, have to make changes. That is, if the recommendation is given that this particular scene in the 25 minutes, 2 second has to be cut, then on this recommendation the producer have to cut the particular scenes, otherwise the movie won't get the certificate, because there are threats which have been involved. Then after the deletion, the applicant will again give to the board for the certification. When the particular producer has made certain changes in the movie, then again he gives back to the regional office for the certification. Then the board actually grants the certification. So they can grant the certification in the four category. That is, it can be an adult, it can be an UA certificate, U certificate, and if it has been made for the special category, then they can add their certificate. Do you know how many days does it take for the film certification? It is round about 68 days. So when a film is actually being made, so it takes round about 70 days, that is 2 months to clear the whole, to get the certificate. That is too far. Now we'll see the cuts. So basically, cuts are actually whenever a CBSC actually watches the film, they actually feel this as not to be shown in the film. So they actually add the cut, and in simple we can say they have censored the whole film. So a recent data which has been released by the Film Federation in 2015-16, we have seen that in an average half of the film this year on that 2015-16 have been certified with cuts. So suppose if we have 100 film, then 50 film has actually got the cut marks, that in particular movie this cut, the sense in simple way it has been being censored. So total, as we have seen, 1986 film which got released, and in Hindi there were 340 films which actually had added the cut of 50%. In Tamil we had 78%. Kannada is the only film which was actually having the highest cut, that is 81.4%. The Marathi film was actually was having 30% cut. The other category we can see that was having 35% cut. So in other words, we can say the cut are actually very important for the censorship. So they are actually making sure that the film should not, after releasing the film, should not create any controversy. So the censor board actually takes the whole responsibility for the cuttings, and that's how the film actually got released in India. So that's all for the video. Thank you guys. So if you like my video, so please do like, share, and subscribe.